this is a program that will directly address that to increase that bilingual capacity in our school system so that we can teach every single child, no matter when they got here,
But
public
Mr.
education.
Mamdani, this certification has been offered and it hasn't been successful. So how can you make more teachers to be, that they want to do this?
Part of what I've heard is that the tuition costs as part of the same certification exams are onerous for many of these adults looking to switch careers. That's why the program is built upon providing $12,000 in tuition assistance that would lead to 1,000 more teachers every year.
Salaries will be.
We have not just migrant children, we have the children of the homeless, over 120,000. We haven't yet discussed charter schools, parochial schools that are closing. Normally, parochial schools would have been able to take some of these children. We need to expand the number of charter schools, and they're doing an amazing job, especially in the inner cities. Why not make that available to migrant children and to the homeless children who are coming from shelters all across the city, who need the special teaching skills that have lifted children in the charter schools? We need to give choice, because that's our most precious resource, our children.
So now move on into the center.
I agree with the charter schools.
Thank you, Mr. Como. So allow me now to enter into the center of the city situation, and let's talk about also undocumented immigrants. 26 Federal Plaza has become a flagship federal immigration crackdown. We reported that asylum seekers are showing up for those routine appointments, not facing any criminal challenges, and they end up being deported. So by the show of hands, we would like to know if you believe that any of you could do something to stop this. So, Mr. Cuomo, you have a minute to explain what we do.
The law is the law, and I would have an attorney assigned to every person who is undergoing any review by the federal government or any legal proceeding, and put the full weight of city government behind it, and make sure they are legally protected.
Mr. Steele, Mr.
Look, going after the criminals, that's the job of Immigration and Naturalization Service ICE. But when they have to perform under a quota, because I speak to many of the men and women who serve this country, it's putting too much pressure to go outside of courthouses, to go to Home Depot, shape-ups, or the backs of restaurants and hospitality businesses, which have hired these migrants, and they are essential workers now. I can tell you, I have 3 sons. None of them are going to do that work. Some Americans will, but most won't. We need to protect the migrants who are workers, who are essential workers, and use ICE to go after the drug dealers, the gangbangers, the sexual predators, and those who are sex trafficking and involved in narco-terrorism.
Mr. Mamdani.
Now, I'd be proud to see the first immigrant mayor of the city in generations. And it's at 26 Federal Plaza that I've seen what used to be moments when New Yorkers would be getting their citizenship turn into moments of tragedy, where judges are asking New Yorkers who are there for routine immigration checking whether they're prepared to leave in the very same clothes that they arrived to that courthouse. I agree that we need more legal representation. I also think we need to actually be able to stand up to Donald Trump, because I've heard from a pastor in East Flatbush, Pastor Galbraith, who told me how he accompanied a member of his congregation to 26 Federal Plaza. He sat there as a judge was determining her fate. They managed to convince the judge to replace the deportation order with a TPS order, but they knew that ICE would not care about that change, and they had to sprint her out of the building, smuggling her into the elevator in order to get her back to work.
Thank you.
And it's, when we talk about New York City's economy, change the pace a little bit. Everyone supports growing New York City's economy. The mayor is our chief salesman to the business world. So we want to mix it up, test your persuasive power. So we're calling it an elevator pitch. We'll start with you, Ms. Mamdani. In this scenario, imagine you're talking to the CEO of a big tech company, deciding to move its headquarters to New York City or to Dallas. The CEO is concerned New York just raised its corporate taxes and employees will pay more for everything. Look into the camera and make your pitch to that CEO to come here and not there. Do it 30 seconds.
New York City has something that Dallas or no other city across this country can actually offer. That is the quality of life. That is the arts and the culture. That is the people that make the city so special. And I, as the mayor of this city, will deliver that quality of life, will deliver the safety that is the cornerstone of an affordability agenda, and will ensure that companies choose to come to this city and also choose to stay in this city. Because so much of what drives the tech sector is a hunger for innovation, a unrepenting desire to actually innovate, and those are the very things that are going to characterize my city government in this.
But what do you say to CEO about the corporate taxes and also the staggering cost for the workers?
We are going to make this city more affordable so that workers who want to work at those companies can actually be able to do so. And we're going to ensure that this city continues to be one where we see businesses opening and also staying.
All right, thank you, Sal.
Mr. Cole, something of a reverse scenario for you. The CEO of a similar company with 1,000 good jobs tells you she's very close to moving her headquarters out of New York City. She sets everything from taxes to the crushing cost of living for her employees in New York City. How do you convince that CEO to stay? Please look into the camera and make your elevator pitch. You have 30 seconds.
We know that the other companies in New York City, I'm sorry.
The question is to me in this camera.
Yes, the question is how you would convince the CEO of a company with 1,000 good jobs who's looking to move out of New York City because of the high cost of living for her employees and taxes, how you would convince her to stay in New York City.
In 15 seconds.
30 seconds.
I get it. I understand your frustration. I understand that the far left has been raising taxes and making businesses feel like the enemy. We get it. That's gone. The DSA, the socialist orientation, we're not socialists. Didn't work in Venezuela, didn't work in Cuba, didn't work here. We know that we have to work with business. We want to be your partner. We want to have taxes that help us grow our city, but are competitive for you. And we want to partner to grow your business and our city together.
Mr. Steve, why you talk about this is because let's assume the big tech company that we pitched to Mr. Mamdani earlier has decided to move to New York, and it's 1,000 good paying jobs, and the CEO wants to be based in Astoria, Queens. But there's a loud pushback of residents who don't want the noise and the traffic. How can you convince the residents to accept the new neighbor? You're speaking to a very powerful community. How can you convince them?
But we saw that with Amazon. Amazon wanted to come in, and AOC led the charge of local elected officials to say no to Amazon. That was a big mistake. I would say this, our companies are being recruited away by the day. We have young people who are going to school here who could fill their needs in these high-tech industries, who also are being lured away. We need to cut their income taxes for 5 years. Now, if you go to school here, graduate here, no income taxes for 5 years. It's an income tax holiday. And the most important thing, we have to be able to assure the executives that this will be a city where we don't lock up toothpaste any longer, but lock up the criminals who make it intolerable to have a good quality of life.
We need to move on to a subject that is.
Democratic Socialists of America that stopped Amazon, of course, it's 25,000 jobs. So
Thank you,
three
Mr.
of them.
Cuomo.
We need to move on to a crisis that is very important to a lot of voters, and that is people struggling with mental health problems. Roughly 500 times a day, someone calls 911 about an emotionally disturbed person. And in a limited number of those cases, when the person is not believed to be violent, social workers are dispatched instead of police. Mr. Mamdani, you want to do that on a much larger scale. So we want to know, how will this work? When will you send police versus social workers? You have 1 minute.
You know, we have a program here in New York City called Be Heard that is attempting to do this kind of work. But we've had a mayor who has ensured that it's been unsuccessful, to the extent that even when there was an assessment of about 60% of calls that could have been addressed by Be Heard instead of the NYPD, Be Heard was not actually responsive to it. And that's because we haven't had the political will to deliver on what is a crisis that affects so many New Yorkers, which is a mental health crisis. What my plan will do, an innovative plan of the Department of Community Safety, will take what has worked elsewhere in the country, a program in Eugene, Oregon, where they took 24,000 911 mental health calls out of the police department. They were able to respond to all but 311 without police assistance. When there is a concern for safety or of violence, absolutely, you would have the police there. But what we are doing today is actually ensuring that every single call is going to the police and not allowing them to do the work that they signed up to do.
How will you determine whether there is a concern for safety or violence? What is the line between calls in which police will be dispatched, the calls to which social workers will be dispatched.
The line is also going to be one focused on violence and the threat of violence. And I also trust the operators who will be receiving those calls to make that determination, as they do every day today for so many emergency services.
And just two really quick points, please. There has been a lot of discussion that you would send social workers to domestic violence calls, which police are concerned about, so you're saying no, okay. And then the other question is, how can you be sure that a situation that does not sound violent when someone calls 911 does not become violent in the moment? Will police be?
Well, for customers like Jack, great experiences aren't built with the best guess. They're built with data you can trust to be accurate and available when you need it. Twilio Sci-fi, for data you can depend on.
Experts who have been doing this work elsewhere in the country, where they call for the police when they need the police, but their initial impulse when there's no violence in that call is to actually address the mental health of the person.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa, you have encountered plenty of these types of situations in your decades of work with the Guardian Angels. So do you see this approach working? You're not a police officer, but you've helped out in situations.
So, boy, another fantasy that's not real. Eugene, Oregon. Have you ever been to Eugene? I've been to Eugene. Come on, this is New York City. We have so many emotionally disturbed persons that are in need of help. And we'll tell you this, Andrew, you closed the mental health beds that were taking care of them. 40,000 when you came into office, down to 4,000 because of the cuts, which forced these people to live in the streets, in the parks, and the subways. These people need to be removed. They need mental health care. We need to make our shelters safe. I've been in 1/3 of the 300 shelters run by the Department of Homeless Services. It's Darwinian there, survival of the fittest. If we can make our shelter system safe, we can get men and women who are homeless in there, especially veterans who are not giving any attention to, who we put out at Ward's Island at 10 o'clock at night, release during the day, don't give any training, have them roam about, and obviously, when you have nothing to do, you end up getting into trouble. This is a disastrous, homeless, and emotionally disturbed plan that we have in New York City. And I'm the mayor that can change it because I deal with them every day in the streets, in the parks, and the subways.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, do you think that the NYPD handles these calls for emotionally disturbed people in distress well? Is there room for something in the middle?
Yeah, I think the Assemblyman deals in theory. There's an advantage when you actually have experience. I've run homeless programs. I ran the homeless programs for the federal government, went to cities all across the nation. When you get a call on a telephone about a mentally ill person who may be violent, it is a very dangerous situation. And I think you should have a mental health worker accompanied with a police officer, because these can be explosive situations. I have been in situations that seemed apparently calm and fine, and then erupted into violence very quickly, and it got very dangerous very quickly. So I would have a social worker with a police officer and get the people off the streets. That's the humane thing, and get them the care they need. Not institutionalize 40,000 people again. We have supportive housing now, which is what we use, and forensic beds for people who need.
Now, let me get this straight. A police officer is there first, yes, to wait for the arrival of a mental health.
No, I would send them as a team.
As a team, but that's not realistic. You're dealing with fantasy.
Okay.
The police officers are going to be the first one on the scene,
Okay.
and they're always going to have to deal with it first and foremost.
Mr. Walker says that he has experience running homeless programs. What he has experience doing is cutting funding for the very programs that prevented homelessness here in New York City. As the governor, he cut funding for the Advantage program, which was putting New Yorkers who had otherwise been in shelters, otherwise been homeless, into apartments. I met one of those New Yorkers who told me how to push her out.
Brief response before.
Right, program 14 years ago, there was a pilot program that had a work requirement. It was very controversial. It was $65 million.
We're talking about Advantage, just so
The
we know what we're
Advantage
talking
program.
about.
It was 14 years ago, 65 million. I added billions to the homeless budget. Funded the homeless budget larger than any governor in history.
Okay.
He cut that program. He cut that program. Homelessness skyrocketed.
This 14 years ago.
All right.
It's during the conversation. Yes, okay.
Okay. I want to ask you about climate change. As New York City confronts the impact of climate change, one issue already on the desk of the next mayor is local law 97. Passed in 2019, the law requires large buildings to gradually reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. That may require very expensive upgrades to buildings, which some landlords and co-op owners say they just simply can't afford. I'm wondering how each of you would enforce the law. You have 30 seconds, Mr. Cole.
On local law 97, I support. Implementing the law is going to be the key, because it has to be done in a way that isn't so disruptive to businesses and residences that they just give up and pay the fine and don't even try to comply, which is what is going to happen now. It will be cheaper for them to pay the fine than comply, and that obviously will accomplish nothing. So yes, I support the law. Yes, we have to implement it, but we have to implement it in a way that is feasible.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Mr. Sliwa?
Local 97 will destroy those people who have invested in co-ops and condos. There's 100,000. It's forcing them to electrify. Now, you, as your call, took Indian Point offline, 25% of our electrical capacity with no replacement, which has caused skyrocketing electricity bills. And now we're going to force condo and co-op owners to electrify. Maintenance fees will go up 30%. These people will be leaving their condos and co-ops. They need relief. When I'm mayor, I slow that process down. We need our co-op owners and condo owners to stay here in New York City and not do it.
Yeah. Indian Point was started before me. It was a very dangerous situation. We have nuclear facilities upstate, and my proposal on what I did is run cables from the nuclear facilities upstate to bring the power to downstate. Indian Point had 20 million people in the kill zone.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mamdani, local law 97, how would you enforce the law as mayor?
I support the law, and I would also make it easier for condo and co-op owners to comply with the law, because what I've heard from so many is that it's cheaper to pay the fine than to actually get into compliance. And I think the city has a role here in procurement at a large scale of so much of what is necessary in these infrastructure investments. We've seen it be done in the Clean Energy Challenge within NYCHA. It's time to do it right here in New York City to assist those condo and co-op owners in meeting the standards we desperately need to hit.
Okay, gentlemen, New York City loves its parades, and the mayor is often front and center. You have all said that you want to be mayor for all New Yorkers. So will you march in all the parades that mayors have traditionally marched in, or are there any that you would boycott? Mr. Sliwa?
I think the mayor has a responsibility, whenever possible, to march in parades, to celebrate whatever that parade is performing against. I've been a grand marshal of the Pulaski Day Parade. I was proud to
Are
celebrate.
there any that you would boycott, though? I just need to move this along.
Excuse me?
Would you boycott any of the city's parades?
No, I would not boycott any parades.
Mr.
It's the mayor's
Cuomo,
responsibility to be available to all racial.
No, I wouldn't unless they discriminated.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani?
There are many parades that I would not be attending because I'd be focusing on the work of leading the city.
Which parades?
A number. I've already missed a number of those parades because I've been
Well, can you tell us?
chief as many as possible.
Okay.
I don't have to list all the parades I've missed.
Wow, that's a
All right,
lot.
are there-
I
let me
guess
ask
you'd be
you
going to
this.
all parades.
Let me ask you this. Are there any parades that don't exist that you think should? Mr. Mamdani?
I haven't thought much about parades, to be honest.
Mr. Cuomo?
I have not thought. I don't even know what parade doesn't exist.
Could be for anything. Mr. Sliwa?
Every parade has the right to exist in New York City. I would ask
David?
you,
Thank you.
Ms. Mondale,
Okay.
would you protect the Christopher Columbus statues that exist here in the city?
I'm telling you, my focus is on affordability. I'm not thinking
No,
about
you're not answering the
All right.
question.
Yeah.
You're not answering the
He
question.
gave the finger to the Columbus Day statue.
Come
That's
up.
what we call it,
All right.
disgraziato.
Listen, we're in the last couple of minutes. We're
You know
talking
what that
about
means?
some questions. We thought we'd have some questions and maybe give a glimpse into your life, your personality away from the political podium. What's your go-to breakfast order at the bodega? Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, eggs and cheese on a roll. No salt, please.
Mr. Cuomo?
Same thing, no salt also.
Mr. Mamdani?
egg and cheese on a roll with jalapenos.
Have you ever purchased anything in a cannabis shop? And if so, what did you buy, Mr. Mamdani?
I have. I purchased marijuana at a legal cannabis shop.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo? No. Mr.
When I was shot 5 times and I got Crohn's disease, I did use medical marijuana. Yes.
In a dream scenario, we know it's not possible, but the Mets are playing Game 7 of the World Series on the same night as the Knicks are playing Game 7 of the NBA Championship, and you can only go to one. Which one will it be, Mr. Sleep?
Again, which baseball team?
This is the Mets, Game 7, Knicks Game 7.
I'm not going to the Mets game. I'm a Yankee fan. True baseball fans either like one or the other. I'm going to the Knicks game. That's my team, the Knicks.
Mr. Cuomo?
I'm gonna go half and half. I can make it back and forth.
All right. Ms. Ramdani?
Split New York is a sick-up. Just pick your team.
What's
Come
your
on.
answer?
I'll be there for the Knicks.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of ground covered. Leave it on that light note. Thank you, candidates, for a spirited debate. You as well. We hope you got a lot of it. New York City viewers, New York City voters. The New York City Campaign Finance Board, we thank heartily, and we urge you to check out their website, nycvotes.org. From all of us here, we certainly thank you for watching, and remember, go vote Tuesday, November 4th. Have a good night.
I'm Bryson DeChambeau, captain of Crushers GC. Technology is changing the way people play sport, and I'm a
That's why I'm more like
D&D.
Yeah, like design, sport design.
So people were bringing original characters, old shorts that came out there. So then she said, "I'll break it down and do a workshop with dance." So like New York, I think we have that word.
It's not that I don't like it. I've done it once, but I think people can just tell. Maybe it's not my expertise,
Okay.
my forte.
So you're basically saying that you draw ugly new words.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Wait a minute, I saw the ladies inside.
Yeah.
You have
Thank you.
okay.
It was initially for your friend. It was initially for your friend. Yeah.
Okay, now, she bought 3 things. The first one was silent. The second was silent. And the third thing she got, you'll be surprised, silent. And guess what? He's going inside like again.
Hey, I gotta own it. Asian fetishes, man.
Pretty strong.
And seriously, like, I'm Asian, so I have to rock. You know, do it.
It's the right one.
It's a great question. No, I'm gonna give you a number. This is my 0.05. All my career so far, I only did one request. That's how small it is. One. That's all you've accepted? No, that's requested. That's what I'm saying.
Because when they look at it, they see the.
I guess they don't see it. I'm secure. You're in me. I'm too like around.
Like, whenever you get I would get like crazy requests like this. You get Transformers.
Yeah.
Bro, have you ever thought that like you see about Transformers? It doesn't make me fucking see every reply.
Okay, but what do you really
I
say?
know I shouldn't be like that like hostile about like this question.
But
But like
and what you tell them again that you really say like
now offended when you absolutely. Do you say me secure? No. Look at my arms.
Who's all right
Did
here?
I look pure to you?
Who's all right now? Like this? I gotta go like this.
I'm sure the people. Jesus.
I just love I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, and like I'm just like really bad at time because I'm bad at time things. Things like that. Like I don't like drawing in general. I don't like drawing. No, I'm not good at drawing the parts and like machinery like type things. So they don't just call them like, hey, sorry, I'm just not really good at that. Like, it's not really like what I do. Like, and I'll maybe point them in the direction of somebody that like does like to do that.
No wild ones till lunch with Kodiak's full grain protein packed frozen waffles.
With USAA Auto Insurance, you can file a claim faster than
Window?
Probably put on some new music, watching the debate, an oral debate from New York, because I am a New Yorker. But that ended, so enjoy some cowboy bebop jazz music reimagined. There's the lawn work. Whiplash.
Sci-fi Studios presents Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Baby, we were born. Discover the movie that's being called the best film of the year. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Rated PG-13. Only in theaters in 2024.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for core power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle, electrolytes to help hydrate, so you can power on. Champion your recovery with core power.
Prior to the economy, really struggled to keep up with employee time off requests and scheduling issues. With John's automation, we have managed to eliminate decision fatigue for our managers and team leaders.
Like that eye. Get rid of this eye. Something about that bothers me. Draw that again.
much. Don't play the game, might as well play to win. We got the crowd waiting, let the show begin. Come on, bro.